Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Animate Objects.
Oh, my hand was in the shot, but oh well. Animate Objects is spicy. I love this spell. This spell's really busted.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, what does it do?
Cool. It's got a 5th level transmutation spell. It takes an action to cast. Got a 120-foot range. Concentration up to a minute. It needs that because this is really busted. Objects comes to life at your command. Choose up to 10 non-magical objects within range that are not being worn or carried. Medium targets count as 2 objects. Large targets count as 4 objects. Huge targets count as 8 objects. You can't animate any object larger than huge. Each target animates and becomes a creature under your control until the spell ends or until it's reduced to 0 HP. As a bonus action, you can mentally command any creature made with the spell within 150 or 500 feet of you. If you control multiple creatures, you can command any or all of them at the same time, issuing the same command to each one. You decide what action the creature will take and where it will move during its next turn. Again, this all is your bonus action. Or you can issue it a general command, such as to guard a particular chamber or corridor. If you issue no commands, it defends itself against hostile creatures and nothing else. Once given an order, it will follow it until the task is complete. So if you tell it to go kill that man, it will continue without your bonus action every single round trying to kill that man. The statistics all below in the nice little table are nifty. They're basically broken down by object size. And you'll note there's some very interesting decisions that were made in deciding how to do these. So tiny objects each have 20 HP, small have 25, medium have 40, large have 50, huge have 80. Tiny have an AC of 18, and then the AC is going down, go to 16, 13, 10, 10. Attacks, again, this is tiny to huge, plus 8 to hit, then to 6, 5, 6, 8 for some reason. So it kind of like peaks and valleys on the tiny, small, medium, large, huge. Tiny ones do a D4 plus 4, which is, you know, large modifier. Small do a D8 plus 2, medium do 2D6 plus 1, large do 2D10 plus 2, huge do 2D12 plus 4. That's a lot of words I just vomited at you.
Yes.
We'll come back around as to what all of that means in a second. Because we're going to finish reading the spell, because believe it or not, we're not done. An animated object is a construct with AC, hit points, attack, strength, and dex, determined by its size. Constitution is 10, and its int and wiz are 3. Its charisma is 1. Its speed is 30 feet. Lots of words here. If the object lacks legs or other appendages, it can use for locomotion and set as a flying speed of 30 feet, which means it's statistically better to animate things that don't have like chair legs to make them have a fly speed, which sure, why not? It has blindside out of 30 feet, which is kind of neat. Whenever it drops to 0 hit points, it returns to being a regular object. If you command an object to attack and make a single melee attack against a creature within 5 feet of it, it makes a slam attack with an attack bonus, and then the stuff that I listed earlier. And then the DM might rule that different objects use slashing or piercing instead of bludgeoning. Finally, you can upcast this. And when you do, you animate 2 bonus objects for each slot above 5th. And that's kind of neat. And it's probably pretty worth it most of the time because you're getting a lot of nonsense here. Because what's really nifty is this spell loves having lots of things animated. You get 10 objects in total. And if you get 10 tiny objects, you're making 10 attack rolls. That's really busted. That's really good. 10 extra attacks as a bonus action is cracked in half. That's 10d4 plus 40 damage. Like, wow, that's with plus 8 to hit on each of them. Holy shit, that's good.
No. When are you ever choosing medium objects?
You're not. You're never ever choosing. When you cast this spell, you should never cast this on things that are medium or larger. If you're trying to like be as powerful with it as you can be. There's some.
There's a case to be made for huge.
What? What's the case made for huge?
I don't know if you need. I don't know if you need something really heavy to go somewhere, or if you need mobile cover or something, I guess.
Sure. I would say 10 small objects are giving you 125 HP. No, more than that. 250 HP worth of objects. Where a huge object is giving you 80 HP worth of objects. So like animating a bunch of small pillows and having them float in front of you is more effective as a barricade than animating the table, which I think is funny. Because like I said, you can get 10 smaller or tiny objects. You can get less medium. You can get even fewer large, or you can get 1 huge. Now, 1 huge and 2 tiny or small is also like, you get the tinier, however many tiny or small excess, but that's just less tiny or smalls than you could get at 10. So you probably should just take 10 because medium, large, and huge all don't do enough more damage to justify less attacks. That's something that you should just know when casting this spell.
Well, also though, you got a cloud of forks attacking this guy.
Mhm.
Um, those each have 20 HP. Now, in total, that's a
Mhm.
lot more. But if if an enemy caster gets an area of effect spell off, you could be killing all those forks simultaneously.
Yeah.
Whereas, if the same situation, the Armor is punching this guy, that same spell is not going to
Mhm.
take it down.
I think that's like the one meaningful note that's like these are worse against things that have area of effect damage. If they can do 20 damage all at once, that is substantially worse. I would say if you're casting the spell, you find whatever can cast the area of effect damage and say get them, and you just yeet a bunch of knives at the wizard, and then they are either fireballing themselves, or they're gonna get pecked to death, which is pretty cute. But yes, you can conceivably say, all right, I can hedge my bets even and say I'm gonna take a large 50 HP one for it only counts as what, 4 objects. Yeah, 4 objects for a large, and then you have 6 tiny objects, and you have one thing with 50 HP that does 2d10 plus 2 damage, and you have 4 tiny or small things that do d8 plus 2 or d4 plus 4, and that's pretty middling. That's pretty fine.
I was playing devil's advocate. I mean, realistically, I'm always choosing the tiny objects.
Yeah, plus 8 hits really good. And d4 plus 4 is about the same as d8 plus 2, so tiny objects just feel strictly better than small objects. I can't. They're also easier to carry around on you. You can just like have a tool belt that you animate regularly. You just drop it on the ground and say get up, and they just float out of their little pockets and go stab people.
Or
Whether they
just grab a
be
handful of coins.
coin. That's so cute. Oh, I love that. Just to be like take some money, animate it midair, and then it just starts flying over and slapping itself against stuff. That's adorable. This spell is so whimsical. God, I love animate objects so much. Outside of like the Munchkin 10 attacks around, Bob, isn't this like there's a really fun theme in being under the dinner table and then animating the dinner table to go beat up the hostile nobles and stuff, right? Like there's so
Oh
many
yeah.
fun images that you get with
Well,
this.
that's another thing. I mean, this is primarily a combat spell, I suppose, but it feels like it could. There are uses outside of combat. Um,
Yeah.
None come to mind, but I'm sure there are.
If everyone in your party's tank strength, which is not an unusual thing to have happen, this can just be a minute-long 18 strength huge object buddy. I think what really hurts it the most is that it's got a minute-long duration, but like let's say you find a huge, I don't know, what's like a door, like you kick down a door and that door is huge. You animate it and say everyone hop on right now, we're going up, and then you have a 30-foot elevator that can just take you up however long far you needed to go with its 18 strength. That can just float because it has a fly speed because it doesn't have legs or anything like that.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple of cute cases like this.
Or
I
if
mean,
there's like if the door is locked and you don't have other means to open it, you just animate it and say open.
yeah, that's a really cool use case.
Yeah.
A door can open itself, right? If it's animated, I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be able to do that.
That's like the only thing it could do.
That's a good point. It would just swing back and forth because it's just literally fixed to the wall.
Yeah.
I think I think this is definitely going to be a spell. I mean, it's for bard, sorcerers, wizards, and artificers. This is a bard, sorcerer, wizard spell because it's 5th level, and artificers aren't getting that tier of play. So, like, on the bard, sorcerers, and wizards that get it, this is such a fun spell to use. Like, you will always find stupid objects that will be gratifying to whack somebody with. Like, even like the minimum you get thrown in jail, right? You then take your handcuffs off and you animate them as a tiny object and you have them wrap around the prison warden's neck kind of deal, right? Like, you'll have sweet justification, vengeance moments. You'll have times where you're just like, I animate a deck of cards, and you can get the really, if you want to play like the swindler card dealer twisted fate kind of character where you're Gambit or whatever, this gives you that exact fantasy. You just take a deck of cards out and 10 cards go flying at people and start cutting their wrists. Like, it's and it does it in a really, really busted way. Like, I shouldn't undersell 10 attack rolls that get +8 to hit each that do a d4 plus 4 damage. Like, that's a gigantic cloud of damage that you're getting for a minute, and each one has 20 AC or 20 HP. So like nothing's attacking them because they also have an AC of 18. Like,
yeah, that's nuts.
It's ridiculous. It's so good. This spell, I can't believe this spell is like exists in this form. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Beauty and the Beast yet.
Yeah. This is you build your own Lumiere, easy peasy. Get your feather dusters and Mrs. Potts out, and they'll just start going kicking. It literally is the final battle in Beauty and the Beast, where all the objects are throwing things at each other or at the invaders and whatnot. Yeah, it's great.
Ah, yeah. I attack with Angela Lansbury.
Exactly.
Ah, that felt obligatory. I had to bring that
100%.
up. But yeah, we got anything else to talk about? This, I mean, there's so much text. It feels like there's more we could cover.
I
But
mean, most of it's you summon 10 monsters that can attack. That's what most of the text like can be surmised in, and that attacks descriptions are just, here are the specific numbers behind things is what most of this is saying. I think that while it's not often optimal, you will still get a lot of mileage out of the spell, and it will still feel powerful just because of how cracked the spell already is to get a large object or even a huge object from time to time to be like sit in front of the party and just soak damage. There will be some small windows where it will feel powerful and you'll find cool niche uses for it. Fine.
what's the spell with a gazillion methods?
Conjure minor elementals.
What level is that?
Fourth.
But
it gives you 4 is less or 8 is less than 10. This gives you 10 creatures. It gives you 8 creatures, and it doesn't upcast at 5th level. And additionally, this has slightly more flexibility and finite control. So with the conjure spells, your DM can tell you which methods you get. You can get into some messy gray areas as far as like specifically what you may want consistency out of it that you can't get because they give you mud methods when you want to steam, or they give you steam when you want in mud, right? This you always know exactly what you're getting. You can carry around the objects you specifically want with you. You can attack them with a bunch of keys if your heart desires. This probably isn't better than conjure minor elementals. That's
no, because the forks don't explode or have breath weapons.
Yeah. I don't think we can ask this to be better than conjure minor elementals. It's still really, really busted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I'm level 4 versus level 5.
Oh yeah. I think that's a ringing endorsement for conjure minor elementals, not necessarily taking away from what animate objects can.
Right. Yeah, this is cool.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too. You got a rating?
I think this is a 5 out of 5. If this comes to the table, my God, you have to go through a lot of problems figuring out how you're going to manage it. 10 objects can be a nightmare to track, especially because they all have 20 HP. Like the methods don't all have 20 HP. The methods have less HP than that. So
that's true.
You're going to run into some real times you're like,
20
oh my
HP
God.
and good armor class.
And AC of 18.
Yeah.
Oh, these things are hard to hit. Yeah, at that point, DM, you just have to be like, I guess everything's packing fireballs because we have to deal with these things. It is really game warping. A player using animate objects well will feel debilitating. It puts out so much damage. It does it as a bonus action. They're still casting their 4th and 3rd level spells as their actions. They're doing this on top of fireballing your shit. Like,
and not even a bonus action after the first command goes down, if they're still fighting, the target.
Pair this with your Crown of Stars, and you're lobbing meteors of death, 40-10 damage. The objects are stabbing things. You couldn't hold up counterspell and just be waiting to stop the area of effect damage spells from happening towards you. It's a really powerful effect that your DM is going to have to figure out how to adjust encounters for. And every encounter is going to have to be like, animate objects exists. They can animate things they have on them. How do I manage that?
Yeah, I want to see this in a movie.
You have, it's called Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, a different movie. I want to see other objects. I don't know. It's a really cool spell. I got to agree with you. 5 out of 5, both for practicality and flavor. It's powerful and fun.
Yeah, I definitely think you can come at this spell as someone that doesn't want to do the really crazy busted stuff and just wants to have fun with it, and it will still deliver on being a powerful effect just because that's how summoning magic works, and you'll be able to get exactly what you want out of it. At the same time, you want it to be a really busted thing, it can be. And that doesn't hurt the spell at all. It's going to be great for everyone who takes it. This is a home run.
All right. Well, that was Animate Objects. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.